so today I'm here to wrap up my reading for the months of March and April. So I'm really getting a head start on this video because I actually thought I was already in May. Like, I thought I was already a couple days in there, and then I was about to film and then I was like, oh shit, it's actually the 30th of April. And I also haven't finished one of the books I'm going to wrap up. And I was like, damn, I got way too ahead of myself here. But I also just wanted to keep on top of it. Obviously, I have a lot of rare content that I want to get out in the world. So I was like, if I get this video done, it's out of the way, I can actually wrap up some stuff, because I didn't film a wrap up last month because I only read 4 books in March and then I've only got 3 books for April. And every single one of them is a book that I brought to Rare with me. So I definitely only have read one type of thing for quite a while, so I'm actually so excited for my next read because I just picked a book purely because I wanted to read it, because I've been so structured, and every year I'm like, I'm not going to structure my reading, and then there's always a reason why I have to read the books that I read. That I have a lot of things that I want to read, but I'm just specifically picking a book because I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this. But also, it's been a while since I've actually just filmed a video like this, because all the content lately has been like reaction vlogs, and they've been fun to make because it doesn't take a lot of effort. Like, not that this takes effort, but like, I have to stand up, I have to be in the setting, I have to get it all sorted and ready to film. But it just feels like it's been a while. So it's exciting to like get back into it, because I don't think I'll need to react to things until August, because Heartstopper season 2 is coming out, and then Red, White and Royal Blue is coming out, and it's like the month for the things to happen. But let's get into the wrap up, because I waffle on every single time and talk about the books that I've read. The first book I have is Savage Bonds by J. Bree. So this is book 2 in the Bonds That Tie series. I've been listening to them all on audiobook, and this series is honestly amazing. I have been so obsessed with it, and the fact that I'm just continuously listening to a 6-book series, and I will get it finished this year, and when I do my completed series, I'm gonna be so proud of myself, because like, I never read series. I only read freaking standalones or trilogies, and then I only normally read book 1 of the trilogy, so it just never seems to work out well for me. First book is a 4-star read, but I've given every other book 5 stars, because the first book, I just couldn't get over the way that Ollie was so completely alone, and they would just not stop giving her shit and bullying her and being mean to her and not understanding what she's done for them. Like, they were such entitled prick asses, all of them. Like, there wasn't anyone that was good. And then the one that was nice, suspicious, okay, suspicious behavior in my opinion, because it's like, I'm in Ollie's brain here dealing with the shit that someone being nice is suspicious, which is sad. But this book, we actually started to get a turnaround with Gabe and Griffin being a bit nicer to her. Like, especially Gabe, because like, once he found out a little bit of something, he was like completely obsessed and loyal to her, and I love him. Okay, I love him so much. And obviously, they've had such a good friendship, and it's been a very slow burn for their relationship, because this is a Why Choose story about bonds. So she is a central bond. There's 5 guys, and you're meant to be with all of them, and you're meant to just be like this little family unit, which is very cute though, because it's like the way that they all care so much about each other, but then everything that they do is meant to be for her. Like, in a bond that actually works and there's not all this issues around it, they're meant to completely live their lives for their central and do anything that she wants and just be happy with her. And it's the same way when it's like all girl bonds for a man. It's just like, it's meant to be this like really happy family vibes, and they're getting there. Like, I feel like maybe book 5, book 6, they might start getting even there more, but this book has definitely expanded a lot. And by the time I finished this book as well, I was just like, there's going to be cliffhangers at the end of every single book, and pretty much there have been. And also, the person that she bonds with first was my guess, and it makes me extremely happy. But it's just a great book. I highly recommend this series if you want to try a reverse harem or Why Choose. I'm starting to use Why Choose now because I like that a lot more than reverse harem. I've never read anything like it, so this is a good one to start with. And I'm intrigued to read like a couple more, but it's not going to be like the new thing that I strive for. But if anyone's got some good recommendations, I'd be happy for them. Then I read The High Mountain Court by A.K. Mulford, and I don't have this book because it's in a box. in the mail coming for me, because I sent home a 10-kilo box of books from Rare, so I've only got 17 of them and I've got like another 20 in that box, and I really want my box to turn up, and I've been sad, and I've been telling my friends about this and I'm sad, but everyone needs to know because I just want them. And then I can film a video about all the books that I have. But also, side note, A.K. Mulford was probably my favourite author that I met at the event. She's so lovely, and we got to chat to her multiple times and she recognised us. It's like goals. But this book, I was completely obsessed, okay? Like, Hale, as a character, like, he was such a snarky little bitch at the start, and he's meant to be this, like, party prince, but he actually cares so much, and, like, the hate-to-love romance is so good. I can't remember the main character's name, I just remember Hale because he really sparked my love with this series. But basically, there is all these courts. Our main character's from the High Mountain Court, and it was completely taken out by the Northern Court, I think. There's North, South, East, West, and then a High Mountain Court, so there's 5 of them. Each court has a specific witch that lives in their court, but like everyone can go anywhere. But the Red Witches are the ones that are like the most dangerous, so that's why the High Mountain Court was taken out, because Red Witches originated from there. So Red Witches are hunted. Our main character, Remy, her name is Remy, I'm pretty sure it is that, but she is a red witch and she's pretending to be a brown witch, and then the prince finds her and he takes her because he needs a red witch to help him do some shit, and she's like been living in the shadows and hiding for a long time because of who she is and what her abilities are, and she doesn't want to get killed, but she has to like start really like fighting for her like people and like trying to do better, and it's just really good because like there's a lot of political intrigue. Hale is also Fae, so like I loved the Fae aspect as well because like this book had so much good stuff. I've also ordered the second 2 books because I want to continue on. It's a companion series as well, but I just loved the romance in the first book, and there's some things that are very obvious that you're going to pick up as you're reading it because they don't really necessarily hide it, but also I've read a lot of books, so it's kind of like they all have this format that they go along, and every time it doesn't bother me because I always get so excited when you pick the thing. But I've waffled on a lot, but I just like read it. It's such a good book. Then I read Blood Bonds by J. Bree. J. Bree was also lovely as well, and I got to meet her a couple of times. What happened? Oh yeah, so Ollie had some issues in the last book, and then she's somewhere that they aren't, and it was very stressful. But also Kieran is a character in this story that's not a Bond. I really liked the way that he was in this book. We found some things about him out that I really liked. What else happened? Yes, she bonded with 2 more of them, and I like the order that it's happening. And one of the characters that was like really shitty in the start, which was North, really grew on me on this book. I really like him. The other shitty character at the moment, because I haven't read the whole series, is Nox, and I'm waiting for there to be that redemption arc because she's got to get on with all the bonds. Like, that's where I feel like it has to go. But I hope it's a good one because I really dislike him as a person. And I know that there's trauma, I know that there's drama, and I know that there are things that are going to be awful to read once I get to book 5 and 6, but at the moment, he just irritates me. But this book, I'm just trying to... Like, the cliffhanger at the end of this one was really good as well, but they also moved to this, like, secure location, which was really interesting. There's, like, a lot of battle scenes, a lot of fighting, and just a lot of her getting closer to her bonds. And now that there's more than 1 bonded, there's, like, more than 2 of them do things at a time, and it was like, whew, like, I haven't read anything like that before. And now it's like, you know, because there's 1 of her, 5 of them, I'm waiting. It's gonna be good when it happens, I swear. And then I read Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match by Sally Thorne, and this book, I just like The Hating Game. I feel like it's just like her best novel, and everything else is probably going to end up falling flat because I have second first impressions, but I haven't read it yet, and I've heard so many bad things about 99% Mine that I just don't know if I want to even buy it. This one was okay, but the way that there was just like not really any plot or character story, like it was just about her being obsessed with making a man to the point of like choosing body parts of the man, and the way that he just doesn't like her and hates that she's around him. It just felt very non-consensual with his body's reactions as well. But also, I thought this was like a YA, but it's very much adult. And it's about Angelica Frankenstein, who is Victor Frankenstein's sister. And he makes his monster, and then she makes Will, who is her own monster, but he's not really, because he's like pretty much normal once he wakes up. And it's about Victor getting married. She wants to make a match. There's a captain dude that comes into the story. And like obviously there's like plot devices and things, but I just feel like this book very much fell a bit flat. Like I was hoping for there to be like a cuter romance, but I just couldn't get past the way that he just so viscerally didn't want her to touch him. And it's like she never did anything, but like she's just like so obsessed with him that I was like, ugh! Like it gave me the ick so strongly. And even though in the end I was starting to think it was kind of cute because they were being a bit cuter, and like the reveal at the end I was just like, oh! Which also then brought me back the ick, because then it's like, shit. She's like in love with him, but he's got this thing that's very important to him. But like he's found love now and he's just going to disregard that thing. It was just an experience. Like I ended up giving this book 3 stars. Like it was still okay, but I feel like I don't know if I was expecting more from it or just weirded me out a bit. Okay, for April, I read 3 books and I was meant to read 5 for Magical Readathon. But I just absolutely got hella slumpy this month, and I kept changing out one of the books that I picked for a prompt, which I'm also going to swap out again, so that at least I've read 3 of the subjects, which is about as well as I did last year. And then come the next round in August, it's going to be 8 books that I got to read. But if there's all these TV shows coming out, I don't think I'm going to. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, I need to do this. So I used to do so well, and like now, like it's one of my favorite things to do this readathon, and I just can't read. But I just have to be like, yo, don't think about it, just don't care about it. But anyway, more books that I've read. The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Schulte, and this was a last minute read because the author only announced that she was coming to Rare like in the last month. And I was so excited, and I just knew that I had to finally read this book because I bought this on release like 3 years ago and then I never read it. But oh my god, Astrid Schulte has a way of writing books that completely captivates me, because like Four Dead Queens was an amazing story. I absolutely was floored by how much I liked that book. And then this one was like, at first it was a bit weird, like trying to figure out what the story was going. They have this way of restarting someone's heartbeat once they've died, but they have to have been someone who's drowned in the ocean because their bodies generally are still okay, like they don't have injuries. But basically they can restart your heartbeat for 24 hours, but then they can never do it again. Basically people will pay to have their loved ones resuscitated for this period of time, and they're meant to just stay in a hospital room, and the person's not meant to realize that they've died. And basically they just spend the time with them, and then they die again, and then they leave. So basically the main character, Tempe, lost her sister 2 years ago, and she's been saving up money to be able to resuscitate her because she thinks that her sister was a reason that their parents died, so she wants to bring her back to get answers. But once Elsie wakes up, she has different ideas. She wants to break out of the facility, she wants to find out what happened to the parents, and she wants Tempe to go with her. So they've got 24 hours to figure out all this shit. Like, the world's so interesting because it's just a water planet. Like, the Earth was completely decimated, and all they have is like floating rafts and a couple of islands. So it's all about like being underwater. There's pirate vibes, there's, as I said, a time limit, and like the way that the plot twists and turns just keep coming at you every time. I never see any of it coming, and once I read it I'm like, oh my god, how did I not think about that? And I know that people consider that spoilers, but I just have to tell you that like I was so invested in the way that these things just kept happening, and with it having the 24-hour limit, it was just so intense. And also, like, there is like some romance in this book, but really it's really good the way that it's like, well, there's only 24 hours. We can't build a story on this because like they didn't go the insta-love way. And also, one of the characters is asexual, which I was like, yes, this is a great representation. But I absolutely love this book. I had such a fun time with it, and I highly recommend it. Then I read King of Wrath by Anna Huang, and I'm going to tell you, when I first started reading this book, I was like bored shitless. I wasn't really having fun with it, and I was like, how am I meant to read the rest of her series when I just don't like these type of of male characters that are so dominating, and it's like the billionaires and they're rich and they chuck money at things and they will kill bitches if they need to, and they're like really big companies and they can like make any problem go away with money. And I'm like, ah, my god, Dante. Like, he was annoying for so long, but then like, because it's an arranged marriage and he's been blackmailed into it by Vivian's father, so he absolutely doesn't want to do this, and Vivian's like doing what her parents want. And she's also famous for like being a party planner and just being in society and everything, but she's like kind of a pushover with her parents, and Dante wants to just not like her, but then he just starts to. And there was a moment where he's just like, where is my wife? Like, Rowan vibes, of course, but also it's the way that he was saying that when he doesn't like her and they're not married that completely just took me. I was like, I'm invested, I'm here, I'm going to read the shit out of this book. And the drama was done so well, the characters were done so well, and the way that just society as a whole for these rich people, it's just so crazy to me. That like they will just drop $150,000 on flowers or a dress or shoes, and it's just normal. Like, excuse me? I bought Converses for 110 bucks and I was like, oh my god, this hurts. And that's like not even that bad when they're spending how much? So being able to experience this rich vibes as a whole has been so entertaining, and I'm definitely excited to continue on with the series. King of Pride should be out in a month or two because it's out as an ebook, but it's not out in paperback yet. But I'm for sure excited for the next relationship because it's about Isabel and Kai, who are characters that are in this book. But it's also cool the way that characters from Twisted series are in this book, and then like Dante's in one of the Twisted books. Like, they're all in the same society, and I think that's really cool that everything interweaves that way. But it's definitely got me excited to keep reading more, and I'm so happy because I was going to be really sad because I met her and then I'm like, I don't want to read your books, I'm so sorry. Okay, and then I have Forced Bonds by J. Bree, but I haven't actually finished this book, but I have 50 pages. I actually forgot that I wanted to listen to the audiobook today, but I have time, so I'm going to listen to this and I'll probably crochet at the same time just to make sure that I finish it. This one's taken me the longest to get through because I wanted to wait until I was able to get the rest of the series physically before I continue on with the series. So there was some periods of time where I just chose to listen to music instead of listening to the book so that I can make it last until after Rare. But this book has a lot of the aftermath of what happened at the end of book 3. We also get the complete bondedness of the story happening, even though the last bond is still questionable to me. I still need to read books 5 and 6 to be able to accept it. But there's also been some really interesting stuff about power boosting in this book, because one of the things with bonds and bonding as a whole is that when you bond, you give each other some power, so you bond to get stronger. So obviously Ollie, as a central bond, can get 5 times stronger, but she didn't really want to because of what her abilities are, but now she kind of accepts it. But it's been really interesting to see what some of the guys' power boosts have been, and I've enjoyed it. I've also been told that the cliffhanger to this book is atrocious, so I won't tell you about it, obviously, because I don't know, but that would be a hell of a big spoiler. But I'm so excited that I've only got 2 more books to read, but then I'm also like, am I going to be sad that the series is nearly over? Because I've just loved these characters so much, and I just love being in this world with them because they're just all amazing, and I just love them. Like, they're all so different, but they all are people that Ollie needs in her life, and it's just, I love it. So I am pretty happy with this wrap up. Sad that I don't have the high mountain cord, and I should have thought about that because I probably should have had it in my suitcase, but I was like, it can go in the box, it can leave me. I don't know if I'm gonna read more now that I don't have to read for Rare, because I can just pick some random stuff, because I feel like that's what May should be about. It's just picking some random stuff and being happy about what I'm reading. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will try and do more wrap-ups, but at the moment it seems like the 2-month thing is where I'm at, because I always find that once a month goes, I'm always really busy with other content that I decide to do a 2-monther, or I just don't read enough books. But they always eventually come, and like as I said, with my review book journal, it's always going to be 2 months, so you will see all these books again, but in my review journal, which I'll do later because like it can have a bit of time and I can upload some other stuff, and I also haven't done it. So that's the other issue. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!